So I've come across this lady a few times in the past. Big EV lover, you know. As I've said before, if an EV works for you, then that's fine. Buy one, it's no problem.
Then the Tesla hit a pole and was consumed by fire.
Heard him on the phone like there's someone in there.
Cell phone video shows the race to put out the flames by North Miami Beach police, breaking the back window and using fire extinguishers themselves.
I keep reading about people getting burnt alive in cars. I know cars go up quickly, but also what I have read is that people can't get out of electric cars because if they have an accident and the battery's damaged, it then shuts off the door locks. So you've got all this glass area. You're on your side, you've got the roof, you've got the back window, the front windscreen, the side windows. In here, it would be difficult for me to get out of the side. But trust me, if it was on fire, I'd be out of one of these windows like a shot. How do you break it? If you wear a ring, actually I've not got mine on at the moment, but if you wear a ring, bang. I always keep one of these in the car. Now, there you go. Sharp edge, bang. Centre punch in the car, anything like that. There's a better one of these that I've seen, and it also has, I mean, you can imagine that you've not been knocked unconscious in the accident. You're wide awake and you can't get your seatbelt off. Your worst nightmare, being burnt alive while you're awake. I've seen a couple of these where they also have a little razor blade in here so you can cut your belt off. Brilliant idea. I'll try and find one of those and I'll put a link in the description. How else would I get out? So I've not got a hammer. I've not got a ring on. My seatbelt is free. I want to get out. I release my seatbelt, pull out like so, and with the end there, I smash the window. And then I'm out. I mean, I can even reach the back window in here, but that's it. That metal, remembering that could save your life. Don't forget.
I've mentioned her in a few videos. I don't follow her, but somehow this came up on my LinkedIn. Now, I'm very grateful to all you lot out there who send me links to stories, and I got this link sent to me a few times. A couple of things I don't like doing. I don't like jumping onto something before I know and before the story's being confirmed. Because I believe it or not, I do like to get my facts right. Now, the other day there was a fire, a car transporter fire, and it was a bad fire. I think there was 9 BYD electric vehicles on there. But when I looked into the story, I couldn't find any confirmation that it was the electric vehicles that had caught fire first. So I didn't make a video of it. And then this came up. Jill Nowell, Strategic EV Communications, EVA England. Just go on to her. Strategic EV Communications. I'll give her a due. She's a live wire. Non-executive board director. Director of e-mobility, Green TV Media, Principal AFRI, Head of Electric Vehicles. Now there's a good post. Emergency stop buttons on EV chargers instantly cut power and stop charging to keep people safe. Intended for use in genuine emergencies only. There you go. You can see she's reposted this on her and also on EVA England, and that's the electric cars facts and figures which I've gone through, and I don't agree with it. She looks like a happy person, that's for sure. Never stops smiling. So we'll just go back to this. This was yesterday. Bracing myself to read the comments on an article about the diesel transporter that caught fire, which happened to be carrying electric cars, I was pleasantly surprised to read so many comments in support of electric vehicles. Lots of people were combating the misinformation that always surrounds these types of inflammatory headlines. Are we now starting to see the sensationalised reporting for what it really is? I'm hopeful. Update. Just read another article about the same fire. We still have a long way to go. Now if you go into the comments, couldn't help myself. Yes, misinformation is terrible. I totally agree. And the sooner the EV mouthpieces stop dishing it out and EVs are sold on features and benefits to buyers whose needs they actually meet, then the sooner instant buyer's remorse and the feelings of being ripped off will subside. RIP these Tesla drivers. What a horrific way to die that is. A tree running out in front of them. And Tesla. Man and 2 children burned to death after the Tesla they were in crashed into a tree and caught fire. Or from what I can understand is it wasn't like a horrific crash. You know, the vehicle wasn't mangled, they hit a tree, but they couldn't get out due to the handles on the inside of the vehicle. Most vehicles, if the crash sensor is activated, even if the doors are locked, it opens them. Man and 2 children, 1 child got out of that vehicle. The next one I put, fiery crash kills 1 trapped inside Tesla in North Miami Beach. Others hurt. Wasn't the Tesla's driver from what I can understand.
The latest in the story we've been following all day. 1 person is dead after a fiery chain reaction crash in North Miami Beach. That person trapped in a burning Tesla before losing their life.
It's almost impossible to turn off the car with 3 fire extinguishers, especially the Tesla.
Bystanders sharing this up-close video with us of the Tesla on fire. The driver still inside.
And they broke the back window. Really didn't do anything.
So I did them. To me, those Teslas don't appear, the ones that have, crashed, to me they don't appear to have been rolled or just front end crash. You should still be able to get out of the vehicle. The policemen were using the buttons to try and smash the windows. To no avail. Anyway, so I put that. I searched the internet and I couldn't find, and still today, I still can't find anything that says it wasn't the electric vehicles and it was definitely the transporter. I found one thing on social media that said there were sparks coming from the transporter and it was the transporter that caught fire first, but the Fire Brigade website haven't said what it was. Even so, if it wasn't the electric vehicles, 9 of them all caught fire, went up, were total losses, 9 of them. Now, I just can't imagine that happening to petrol or diesel vehicles. I really can't. I'd never heard of that happening before. Yet there was another transporter with Jaguar EVs that suddenly burst into flames and they all went up. This was another car transporter fire. Car transporter fire on the M1 South. This was 5th of December 2022. We're currently dealing with a fire involving a car transporter on the M1 South between junction 26 and 27. That was it. Jaguar I-Paces, from what I can remember. There you go. So here we go. Gary Comerford. There you go, with his pink glasses on and his quiff. The transition to EVs is all about education. Help me spread the knowledge and fight the misinformation. Subscribe to the EV Musings podcast, newsletter or Patreon account. Self-employed, Huddersfield University. I think I might have come across this chap before, but he replied, Diogo Jota dies in crash. Supercar rolled and burned. Cause of death, not an EV. Paul Walker, not an EV, and he was trapped. Another one, not an EV, and he was trapped. Have you ever seen the wreckage of Paul Walker's Porsche? Diogo Jota, his car, the wreckage was spread over hundreds of yards. He hadn't just bumped into a lamppost or something. Paul Walker, I think he bumped into a lamppost, but he bumped into a lamppost at a phenomenal speed. Here we go. So this is Diogo Jota. As you can see there, that's obviously a bit of the arm code that he's gone through. But Paul Walker, out of Fast and Furious, terrible waste of life. He was trapped inside that car. Now, if I'm honest, I don't think he was trapped inside the car because he couldn't open the door with a handle inside. That's what's left of his car. That's what it looked like before, Carrera GT. So I've replied to him. I see you've made the same fatal mistake in your bio, because like the rest of them, you think if you don't want an EV, you need educating. Keep it up. What we need is to sell them properly and shut the EV mouthpieces up who do more harm than good. I genuinely believe that. I've sent this video and a fire crew had to attend a smoking Nissan Leaf at a charger. You'll see there, all the other ones have been moved out of the way. Now I already knew this, but do you know how they put fires out on EVs these days? They don't. They wait for them to burn themselves out. And do you know why they wait for them to burn themselves out? Because the toxic shit that comes off them in a fire, mixed with the water from the hose, then gets washed down the drains.
So right now all the smoke, we have very limited wind out here, so for the most part the smoke is going directly up into the atmosphere. Again, that's working with EPA, that's their recommendation for these responses, is to let it burn off and for that smoke to rise up into the air, into the atmosphere, as opposed to mixing the water, creating more of a toxic environmental hazard into the waterways.
It's less of a hazard for the vehicles to off gas and burn and for the fumes to go into the air. What they have to do, they have to create a perimeter.
Let's go ahead and try and isolate the area as much as possible right now. Anybody in the fumes, out of the exhaust right now, make sure you're on air.
Anybody downwind from the cloud of smoke is evacuated, and then they wait for it to burn itself out. Here, because it was under the trees, they had to hose down the tree, not the car. They hosed down the tree so the tree wouldn't go up in flames.
When our crews got on scene, they found the vehicle in what we call thermal runaway, which means that it's slowly burning from battery cell to battery cell within that electric vehicle. Our current response guideline for EV fires like this is to let it burn.
Go for hazmat 38.
Yeah, if you can find that vehicle owner, make contact with them, just make sure he understands what our plan of action is right now.
And then they dragged the vehicle back so the tree wouldn't catch fire. All the firefighters had to have breathing apparatus. My video the other day, 4 firefighters can't return to work because they inhaled the toxic fumes from an EV fire. One of them can only walk 300 yards and his lung capacity is 81%. That's 6 months later, I think 5 months later. Here you'll see them. They're hosing the tree down. Just over here, the fire vehicle is ready to try and drag the Nissan Leaf away. Just into the middle where it, there you go, he's dragging it away. You'll see the wheels are locked there. Pulls it away. And then they wait for the cells to burn themselves out.
Pressurized flame coming out the bottom, which also indicated batteries were on fire. As it progressed, it became a fully involved vehicle fire that, again, we're letting burn.
Before they douse the rest of the flames. That's what they have to do. They just leave it to burn out. Do you know what they have to do then? Now this might surprise you.
For responding to structure fire, our standard procedures for our bunker gear are to take them to our station extractors, which are specialty machines that will extract any particulates out of the bunker gear. With the products of combustion that are created from these EV fires, a lot more toxins that their bunker gear is exposed to. So with that, to get rid of these toxins from their bunker gear, we send them off for a specialty cleaning, and they do it cleaning with carbon dioxide, and then they test it for the bunker gear for HF after it's been thoroughly cleaned. So any crew members that had direct exposure to that initial smoke during the firefighting aspects or during the securing of the vehicle, their gear will get bagged up by our logistics bureau. Our logistics will double bag it and then put it in a barrel, send it off to the specialty company. Usually takes a week or so for them to go through this thorough cleaning, deem whether it's still safe for our members to use. If it is safe, they'll continue with the cleaning process and then return it to those crew members. If they deem for whatever reason that it's no longer safe due to the high exposures from the smoke, then that gear will be condemned at this point.
You have to strip off at the scene, put all the gear. Strikes me as funny, he's putting all his stuff in there and he's not got any gloves on, but they put all the equipment that they've had on, go into bags, bags are sealed, then they go in a bin and they go away to be decontaminated. Now that's just one EV fire at some chargers. Now I did a story a couple of weeks ago about the health risks just at chargers, EV chargers, because they suck in all the crap off your car and then redistribute it into the air while you're sat there waiting for your vehicle to charge. What do you think those EV chargers are going to do with all that toxic shit off that fire? It'll be all over there. You go, plug it in. What's the next thing? When there's a fire, do they have to decontaminate the whole area? Because perhaps they should do. So this has just come in at 7 minutes past 2 on the 5th of the 10th, 2025, just while I'm editing this story. The underground parking lot of a large apartment complex in Suwon was engulfed in flames due to an electric vehicle fire. According to Yonhap News, on the 5th, at around 8:04 a.m. that day, a fire broke out in the underground parking lot of an apartment complex located in Gwansan-gu, Suwon, Gyeonggi Province. Sorry about that. After receiving a report from a building management employee who saw the smoke rising from a parked Mercedes-Benz electric vehicle, the fire authorities dispatched 19 pieces of equipment, and I'm assuming that's fire tenders, and 57 personnel. They managed to bring the main fire under control about 20 minutes after arriving on the scene. The fire was fully extinguished at around 10:16, roughly 2 hours after it began. Fire officials explained that the quick report and dispatch allowed for smooth, early-stage firefighting efforts. The authorities have since moved the burned vehicle above ground and are taking safety precautions, obviously monitoring it and cooling it down with a hose so it doesn't catch fire again. In the incident, one building management employee inhaled smoke and was taken to the hospital. I hope he fares better than the 4 firefighters that were injured the other day, and one of them now can't really breathe properly after walking 300 yards. Residents had to evacuate the complex on the eve of the Chuseok holiday, but there were no casualties. It was confirmed that the electric vehicle that caught fire was being charged at the time. However, it is not yet known whether the fire was caused by the battery itself or by a problem with the wiring. Investigative agencies and fire authorities are currently working to determine the exact cause of the fire. Well, it doesn't really matter what the cause was, does it? It was an EV. There is no doubt it was an EV. It was in an underground car park. It displaced a lot of people. It hurt one person, and it could have killed them all if all the other cars had gone on fire, especially if they're EVs. Don't forget, a transporter with 9 BYDs on burnt to the ground. They all went up. It really doesn't matter. EVs should not be in underground car parks. End of story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.